Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today as we're going to discuss the major astrological energies of July 2026. There is a lot, and we're going to get through the bigger picture understandings of how July is moving us forward in very important ways. And we have many layers of energy unfolding this month. So here is the bullet point list of what's happening astrologically in July 2026. Well, we begin the month with Mercury retrograde in Cancer, moving slowly, inviting us to stay in contact with how we feel, especially before we speak, express, or communicate something, making sure that we slow it down and check in on how it feels so that what we do say comes through with emotional purity and personal truth. Now, I did a separate podcast for you discussing Mercury retrograde in Cancer, so I'm not going to go into that too much in today's show, but just know that this lasts until July 23rd. That's when Mercury stations direct at 16 degrees of Cancer. The Mercury retrograde territory is 26 degrees of Cancer back to 16 degrees of Cancer in your chart. And then Mercury will actually clear his shadow in August, on August 6th. So this is a month of Mercury retrograde energies, and that is important, especially because of how Mercury is about our daily activities. It is about our daily communications, conversations, interactions. It also rules business, commerce, transportation, and what's in front of you. So know that there is a slowdown here to trust yourself, to trust what feels correct for you as well as what feels off. Now, another energy that's starting off our July is Jupiter is now in Leo as of the end of June. And so Jupiter enters into Leo for the first time since 2014 and 2015. That's the last time that Jupiter was in this fifth sign of the zodiac. So if you want to reference back to what happened in your world through these Jupiter and Leo energies, you would look at the transit of July 16th, 2014 until August 11th, 2015. That's when Jupiter was moving through the same territory in your chart that it's now re-entering. And this is an interesting entry point in to Leo because this Jupiter has an immediate square to Chiron now in Taurus, and they square off at 0 degrees in each sign for the first 4 days of July. And so this is where there's something coming to your awareness that Chiron in Taurus is sitting with. It is an insecurity, a vulnerability, a doubt, something that's newly arriving in your consciousness. But Chiron in Taurus makes it tangible, physical, and evident. And it's showing you where perhaps you're feeling a hesitation around moving into some form of personal expression. Because Jupiter in Leo is here to amplify your talents, your gifts, your light, your confidence, and your strength. But that could feel like it's challenged in some capacity as the month begins. But it won't last for long because Jupiter moves on and will not have another square to this Chiron in Taurus. However, important to note in the story here is that this is actually the third and final square between these two energies. Their first square was back in October 2025. The second square was in December 2025. That's when Jupiter was in Cancer. Chiron was in Aries, and there would have been something you were moving through and deeply healing around trusting yourself, your needs, your feelings, your inner world. Something that felt quite vulnerable would have been also big and emotionally exaggerated to catch your attention so that you would see it and even invite it into your inner world and your self-identity to change it. That's part of the square here, is that through the discomfort and challenge of a square, we grow. And so look at how much you've grown in the past 9 to 10 months. And now this July offers you a chance to check in on what you want to stabilize and claim, since both planets are now in fixed signs. So previously, Jupiter in Cancer, Chiron in Aries were in the cardinal signs, showing you a new beginning that needed to happen so you couldn't take something from the past or a previous version of yourself forward. In other words, it had served its purpose, it ran its course. A pressure point of change has been made apparent to you since last October. Now, as July begins with them both in the fixed signs, there is something to stabilize here that could feel like you're figuring it out at a whole new way, like you're establishing the confidence to own something in yourself that's related to a new beginning point. You're ready to initiate into a new expression of yourself, a new understanding of who you are, including your renewed confidence, self-love, a new desire to say, I'm worth it. I'm worth this. I'm worth doing this differently. I'm ready for a new start based on who I am now. I'm fully owning more powerfully what I need, how I want to grow, what is essential for me, and I'm ready to be stronger in that. And yet the square is going to feel like it's a little weak at first. But again, it's not going to last for long. It is going to last into the first 4 or 5 days of July. So if something feels a little wobbly, I'm getting that visual of standing on a plank of wood. Not that you're walking off the plank. That's not the visual. It's standing on a plank of wood and you put your feet on it and it wobbles, right? Because you're on a new surface. You're on a new foundation. And so there's a wobble there to gain your composure and confidence, to find the balance point, but to also proceed ahead on this new path. Now, after the square is exact, the energy moves forward and that Jupiter feels more robust and bold, and you could feel that something is being brought to life within you at a whole new level. So if there's any test, the beginning of July around your confidence, your needs, something you want to do differently, but you're not sure about it quite yet, it's going to gain greater strength as July unfolds. So that is important to note here as the month begins. Then as we progress into July, we're going to have Neptune stationing retrograde on July 7th. And that occurs at 4 degrees of Aries in your chart. And whenever an outer planet is stationing retrograde, its effects are felt in a bigger, vaster way, similar to the ripple effect of the frequencies being more pronounced. They travel further because the energy is stronger. There's an impact that is felt as Neptune stations retrograde at 4 degrees of Aries. And the Neptune retrograde is going to last until the middle of December as Neptune travels back to 1 degree, 37 minutes of Aries until December 12th. So this is a typical cycle for Neptune every year, where it spends about half of the year retrograde. And this is always a time of deeper reintegration and revisiting the new beginnings that you've been dreaming about, that you've been feeling and sensing. This pertains directly to what has been starting for you here in 2026, because now that Neptune is in Aries, there is a new soul beginning that's happening for all of us. And that energy is going to be even stronger in July because of how this Neptune at 4 degrees of Aries is meeting up through exact connection to Pluto in Aquarius, Uranus in Gemini, and Jupiter in Leo, all at 4 degrees. I'm going to get to that in just a moment, but it's important to note that the Neptunian effects are real. This means your dream state is where you're receiving more guidance from your higher self that's uniquely tuned in to you. That's part of Neptune in Aries, is it's showing you more about who you came here to be in this lifetime and how your soul is advancing in your spiritual growth, in your intuition and your psychic abilities, in your energy mastery. Neptune is delivering new dreams, options, and possibilities for what you can create in this lifetime that the rational mind would not normally conceive of. This is a very big, optimistic energy that wants to show you there's more. There's more to you than you realized. There's more to what you can experience in this life than what you thought was possible. So stay aware of any of those messages coming through for you, because this is going to be a big theme throughout July. I think it's also interesting that Mercury is in retrograde in a water sign. And so we're already feeling more of that flowing, inconsistent energy. This means that as you get the insights and understandings, be sure to ground them, write them down, document them, put them somewhere so that they don't just float away. Make sure you're capturing them and able to keep what deeply resonates, even if you don't know why, even if it's an insight into what could happen for you next year in 2027. See, Neptune exists outside of time and space. Neptune doesn't follow a calendar. Neptune doesn't know what time it is. It's just giving you information and downloads based on the frequencies you're connecting with. So you could have some very powerful, cool images that come through that show you more about your future. Neptune is in the now, so Neptune doesn't know that that might be a 2027 or 2028 thing. Rather, Neptune is saying this is in the present reality of whatever frequency reality Neptune is in, so that's why you want to capture it. This is also where we get hints and nudges and soul whispers that are really strong and that are assuring you of the right track for you, the right trajectory, and what's in alignment with your soul growth. So again, this is a strong theme here in July, and that Neptune stations retrograde on July 7th at 4 degrees, 25 minutes of Aries, and is contributing to one of the bigger energies of the month as we experience an air and fire cradle. And it's also called Barbault's basket because André Barbault was a very influential French astrologer who lived from 1921 until 2019. And he first identified this rare configuration of the outer planets all aligning in July 2026 at 4 degrees of each sign. So in the lineup here, we have Pluto in Aquarius, retrograde at 4 degrees. That Neptune in Aries at 4 degrees, retrograde, Uranus in Gemini at 4 degrees, and newly entering the conversation is Jupiter in Leo, also at 4 degrees. And this is such a special, rare lineup of astrological energies that when it was discovered by this French astrologer, Barbault, he predicted that this would change the trajectory of humanity. This would take us into a whole new cycle that would bring about major changes in leadership, important future advancing developments, and essentially set us on a whole new trajectory that would take us away from the severe chaos that has been in place since 2020, but at the same time, it would bring up severe political changes that would affect global dynamics as part of the breakdown of the old and the entry into the new. And so let's take a minute to look at how insightful he was as an astrologer. He predicted the global crisis and pandemic of the 2020s, and he even launched the world's first computerized astrological service in 1967. I believe he wrote over 40 books as well. And so he was known for his pioneering work in mundane astrology, which is about world events, geopolitical shifts, what's going on historically, politically, etc. And so here we are, moving into this highly anticipated astrological cycle of 4 outer planets interacting in such a rare and yet positive way that we are meant to be ready for the changes that unfold in our lives because of this placement and these powerful dynamics. The astrology I practice in this podcast is focused on the individual, your soul growth, your choices, what is empowering for you, what lights you up. And so I don't focus on the mundane astrology as regularly. Yes, I have done that previously. And yes, you will find that in my YouTube playlists. But what I want to bring your attention to here in July 2026 is the choices and opportunities that are going to present themselves that you are ready for, that could start a whole new life-changing cycle in your experiences. Now, keep in mind that the energy of this month is going to continue to play out into 2029. So know that, because I know there's going to be a lot of anticipation about July 2026. I mean, this is so much bigger than trying cauliflower pizza for the first time or discovering a new show on Netflix. Like, this is something that we are meant to move towards and move into because of the work we've done in this lifetime and beforehand. And this is going to open you up to new manifestation potentials that unfold for the rest of this decade. Now, if something doesn't show up for you this month, you might feel disappointed. You might be like, oh, well, that was a letdown, or, oh, I thought I was going to experience this, or did I miss it? Did I miss it? Does this stuff not work? And the answer is no, because this is an initiation into a new experience of reality that could take time to present itself or be experienced, but it's happening. It's happening. This is a push into those new energies. And again, it lasts for a number of years. And I discuss this more in my program, Manifesting with the Minor Grand Trine, because the energies actually started in 2025, last year. We're already in it, but July is when the energy gets revved up, turned up to 11, has the powerhouse fiery energies of Jupiter and Leo in the equation, and then the energies continue in 2027, 2028, and 2029. And so in that program, we go through what that means for you more specifically. So you want to be in on this for yourself. You want to see what is happening for you now in 2026 so that you're aware of the energies in your life that are personally changing for you. And July is when we're all feeling it and sensing it. Now, this is important to note if you have planets around 4 degrees of any sign, 4 degrees of any sign from Aries to Pisces, because all energies are being activated in a chart around 4 degrees. And I would give it an orb of 1 degree to even 8 degrees. Okay, so 1 degree to 8 degrees of all signs are being activated. And why is that? Because even if you don't have many planets in fire and air signs, these energies are squaring the earth signs and squaring the water signs. So everybody's being activated if you have planets or points between 1 degrees to 8 degrees of any astrology sign. That's how big it is, friends. And it signals a new era in humanity is here. It is loading. It is being presented. It's coming forward. We're all feeling it. There are going to be new power dynamics in play. There's going to be new creative breakthroughs that are presented. There's going to be powerful new levels of consciousness that arrive. There's going to be shifts in how we want to move through our daily lives. There's going to be higher frequencies to integrate and play with. And this means you could feel that part of your old self is falling off and falling away effortlessly, like a very clean exfoliation, like something is finally being released from your energy field, your mind, your heart, your body, your soul, because the universe is signaling it's time to move forward. It's time to move on. And what you are ready ready to experience in the next 4 years of your life isn't going to be completely evident or known because these energies are always in motion. So it could feel like, okay, I've got it. I know what it is. I know exactly what's going to happen. And then the universe is going to surprise you and be like, that's not it. But it's going to keep evolving you. And so this is going to be an important phase of staying adaptable, active, flowing with the energies as they come through, looking at what inspires you, and to be in motion. This is not the time period to sit and blend in with the wallpaper. No offense to wallpaper, but this is where the energy is moving you along. If you delay, if you hesitate, if you don't trust yourself, there are things that you might realize in hindsight. I should have said yes. I should have done the thing. I should have gone there. I should have tried that, because these energies want you to move into a new experience of yourself. And so this is strong yes energy. Yes, I'm going to try that. Yes, I'll see what happens. Yes, I'm going to say that. Yes, I'll take the risk. This is the universe moving you into uncharted territory that can bring up a lot of things. But what happens is when the energies are this direct and this clear, there's a part of you that knows you can trust these higher frequencies. You can trust yourself. You can trust your feelings. You can trust where your energy is guiding you, expanding you, and opening you up in ways that have never happened before. And so you're establishing essentially a new soul contract with your reality, with your own life force, and what you are here to experience and create. And some people are going to be really uncomfortable, really fearful, really self-doubting, and not sure if they can handle it. But one thing to keep in mind is that you as a soul are here in a human body for a reason. And you are here on the planet as a part of these grand cycles that are happening over the next number of years. And so if you find that you're not ready yet, you are always honored in your free will. You are honored in your sovereignty. You are honored in what you're perceiving as best for you. But I'm going to give you the heads up that over the next few years, there's probably going to be some big shifts that you feel around what you actually want, and that you might be the only one holding yourself back. And so this is a time to get clear internally around your own worthiness, to have more, your own ability to trust yourself and to put it into motion, to put it into action. This is a time period to look at how you're truly walking the talk with your dreams towards your manifestations. And you know that that energy is you. You are a living manifestation. You are a living creative force. And then we have all these things that contribute to our experiences of that, right? Like we have our past, our emotions, our mind. We have our memories, our imprints, our inner child. We have the parts of us that are perhaps still struggling to heal or wanting to expand but afraid. I mean, we have so many parts of ourselves that are contributing to our daily experiences. But how I'm seeing this is that the kaleidoscope is shifting. The kaleidoscope of your energy field is changing and evolving. And it's your willingness to trust that at a soul level that's going to expand you into more. I mean, you're here to be the best you can be. You're here to have whatever your soul desires in this lifetime. And for many of you, you are here to be more healed, more powerful, more alive, more joyful, more abundant, and more awesome than maybe you thought was possible. And so how I'm seeing this energy is July is a month to expand your auric field. Expand your auric bubble outside of perhaps that typical 3-foot bubble or whatever has been your comfort zone. Simply work on energetically expanding your aura to allow for these new energies to arrive and be in your personal field so that you can adapt them, dance with them, experience them, and know that they are present with you. And again, you might find that you move through some important turning points here where your old life, reality, and sense of self no longer fits. It falls off, it falls away. It's no longer in alignment with this more unlimited sense of your life that is coming through. And if you haven't already done so, you should check out my program that takes you through these energies in your chart, because this is how you're going to track the developments. Because here in 2026, this alignment happens at 4 degrees of each sign. Next year, it happens at 6 degrees. Then it's going to happen at 8 degrees. These energies keep playing out. And there's things that you want to see for yourself to make the most of them. And that is one of the gifts of astrology. That's one of the things we look at in astrology, is what is coming through that we can work with and say yes to. This is also a turning point away from the developments of 2020. This is where you look at how much you have grown in the past 6 years, how much your life has changed permanently. And there's no going back, not that you'd want to, but this is the next launching pad into that new reality that you've been preparing for. It is that big. It is that exciting. I know you can hear it in my voice. This is even something that I started talking about back in August 2023. 3 years ago, discussing these energies in your chart. It is on a YouTube playlist called Age of Aquarius, Renaissance Energies with the Outer Planets. There's 4 videos there. And this is a Renaissance era. So know that there is going to be more. You're here to create, inspire, and take forward. Of course, it's going to look different for each of us, but this is big green light energy. And by the way, it's bigger than your mind. It's bigger than your ego. It's bigger than what you thought you had planned. It is bigger than our humanness. This is part of why we're here on the planet. And this is where the energies are going to lead us forward in ways that we can't predict and we can't fully see, but you're going to feel that it is personal for you at some level of your being. Obviously, that's the main energy here in July. The energies will continue through the second half of 2026 and then keep moving us through the next years of this decade. And of course, I'll keep talking about this in the Wednesday weekly podcasts. We will go into more specifics here as we do, but this is just to give you a heads up that you want to stay aware of what's coming through for you in July. And as if that's not enough, but wait, there's more. You get the full meal deal upgrade. We have the nodes of fate moving in to Aquarius and Leo the end of July. That happens on July 26th as the North Node enters Aquarius and the South Node enters Leo. So there's a lot going on with the fixed signs. And keep in mind that these nodes of fate start at the end of the sign. So that means they're starting at 29 degrees of Aquarius and 29 degrees of Leo. The nodes of fate always move in reverse as their normal trajectory. And so here we have new areas of soul growth will be developing through the higher aspects of Aquarius while releasing the old, outdated parts of ourselves in Leo that we have been realizing are outdated and no longer aligned with the future trajectory you're on. I'll have a separate podcast episode for you discussing more about the nodes of fate, simply because they are a big topic, and that happens the end of July. So that means that through the majority of July, the North Node is finishing up its journey in Pisces, and the South Node is finishing up its journey in Virgo, both moving through 1 and 0 degrees of Pisces and Virgo. So this is a reset in the Pisces energies and the Virgo energies in your chart. There has been a clearing of these energies for all of us in the house or houses where you have Pisces and Virgo energies. That means that the North Node in Pisces is returning you to a pure state of trusting your intuition that has removed any karmic interferences, spiritual distortions, karmic loops and cycles, anything that you were over sacrificing, overdoing, over giving for the sake of another or for something bigger than yourself. This could have brought up things in your world that now that North Node in Pisces is saying, I'm going to do this differently now. I'm going to travel with a deeper connection to my true needs, my spiritual guidance, my intuitive wisdom, and I'm not going to allow any karmic cycles or loops to steer me off course. I'm traveling with the best of my higher self, and I'm allowing anything that has been a disappointment to be removed. I'm allowing for anything that has taken me off course to be complete as I return to my true soul's compass. I'm also feeling like the North Node in Pisces reset has cleared out soul contracts, soul work, and karmic lessons that will no longer go forward with you in the Pisces areas of your chart. So this could also show you where you've been connecting to the lower Piscean influences that you're now more responsible for. This can include any addictions, escapism, self-defeating habits, powerlessness, or any areas of victim consciousness that you're realizing are not connected to who you are right now. This can be a powerful healing month in the Pisces areas of your chart that are being reset. And again, you might notice some things have shifted for you ever since that North Node entered Pisces back in January 2025. And the healing qualities here of the North Node in Pisces is to give yourself more forgiveness, self-compassion, and self-love. In other words, where do you need to let yourself off the hook and just accept your humanness? Accept things that maybe you judged or thought were flaws or thought you should do it better. You should be more perfect. It needs to happen like this. All of that would be actually connected to the South Node in Virgo that can keep us small in our mindsets, in our self-expectations, in our sense of self, where you should always be considering the other, or you should be adapting to what other people want from you or what they expect from you or how you should be in the world because of what other people need. The South Node in Virgo is returning you to your innate goodness, your innate intelligence, your innate talents and gifts that you've developed and honed in on, that you handle well, that you excel at, that you're just naturally able to enjoy without needing any feedback or criticism that results in stress, guilt, or worry. Of course, that is a part of the human experience, and you might find that you're now seeing things in a whole new way around who supports you. Who gives to you? Because the Virgo energy can be very good at doing what other people need, at being a guide, a mentor, teaching, coaching, showing others how they can improve, how to be the best you can be. And then the Virgo energy realizes, well, who's pouring into me? Where am I receiving that in return? And there could be a reset here in understanding what you deserve and what you should be receiving equally. Now, that South Node in Virgo could also be a lifestyle reset where you have seen some of your old routines, patterns, and habits that are not healthy for you physically and emotionally, as well as mentally. And so as that South Node gets through 0 degrees of Virgo, there's a reset here in your personal relationship with your body, mind, and soul, with what is good for you, what sustains you, what supports you, what energy is healthy for you and what is not. So we have an important reset happening here throughout July that is bringing you back to center, asking you to stabilize what is good for me, what is healthy for me, to know that prioritizing yourself should not result in guilt or anxiety, but rather is a necessary component to a healthy life where you're living the best life for you without compromising it for others or shrinking who you are. And actually, this is going to be evident here in July because Venus enters Virgo on July 9th. And Venus is going to be traveling for a few days with a conjunction to the South Node, showing you where self-love, relationships, finances, and your creativity have maybe been held back, restricted, or too small. Could also be showing you changeovers in these areas of your life that aren't aligning with what you need and what you desire next. So, wow, what a month we have here. A lot happening, a lot of astrology going on. And I know when there's a lot of astrology, it can be dizzying. And it's like, Molly, what do I focus on? What do I need to be aware of? What's the most important for me? And when we have multiple important influences all happening concurrently, you can look in your chart at which of these ones is conjunct any of your planets or points. A conjunction is always the most intense. You could also look at oppositions, squares, and trines. Yes, this is a whole astrological exercise in your chart, but essentially the bigger picture is July is here to set you on a new course while continuing to love yourself and trust yourself in whole new ways. There will be new relationships, new partnerships, new connections, new dynamics that are ready to begin. There's going to be new parts of your life that are timed with your soul to happen in the second half of 2026. So know that these energies are bigger than us, bigger than the individual. And you might find that that's something that actually feels good. You can trust it. You can trust this wave that's moving you forward. You can trust that we're entering into a Renaissance period that is moving humanity into a new age. And so we will keep discussing this as always. And again, please check out my program, Manifesting with the Minor Grand Trine, because this is giving you a heads up over the next 4 years in your chart of what's unfolding. And this is a program you reference every year and come back to because there's so much content. I mean, there's over 22 videos there now. And so we go into Chiron in Taurus, Jupiter in Leo, Saturn in Aries. You get a deep dive into more of what to interpret in your own chart. And this is also meant to be something you continue to reference because it gives you more insights each time you do. And so be sure to use the coupon code Cosmic Arrow to get it for 30% off for a limited time. But this is going to be very important for you here in July. And I hope this is yet another way that you further your astrological knowledge and your interpretation of your own chart. So onwards and upwards we go, friends. I will be back as always every Wednesday and Monday for a new episode. Really enjoying that we're on this journey together. And I look forward to continuing these discussions here during these big cycles. So please check out more details in the podcast description box. Otherwise, I'll see you back here soon for another episode. Have a beautiful July, and I'll see you back here soon.